What's up, everyone? So I said that I'd be on here after the veto ceremony was complete. I wanted to be on here a little bit earlier because I know I don't have that much time. I have to get to the track within the next hour. But before I went, I wanted to do the video because I didn't know how much time I would have after I come back. So I think, as was expected by everybody, the noms remained the same. The noms remained the same. Also, as was expected by everybody, or most of you should have expected this, there's talk of a flip and Jag potentially going home instead of Blue. So the thing with that, somebody pointed out, because I follow the stream and I follow the live stream on the computer on the Paramount Plus website, and on the website you can type in the chat, and somebody in the chat pointed out that they've talked about flipping every single week, but they've never flipped. So that is actually a good point, because initially week one was not supposed to be they talked about the potential of week one. Actually, maybe week one was fairly straightforward with Kirsten's elimination. But week 2 and 3, there was definitely a lot of flip talk and no flip that happened. Eliminating Riley was back and forth and back and forth, and eliminating Heisem was also back and forth and back and forth. So the back and forth of this Blue or Jag selection is no surprise to anybody. Yes, Red did not use the power of veto. So the noms are the same. What I've been looking for is to see if anybody had an update about the invincibility thing, but I have not seen an update for that yet. I'm still kind of checking my sources here, but I have not heard of an update for that yet. But I do know that Red has not used the POV. The strange part to me is that both Blue and Jag seem very comfortable, and I don't really understand how both of them can be comfortable. There were some conversations with Cameron where he has said that Izzy is one of his biggest targets in his house. In the house. I said in his house. I mean, I guess it's because he's HOH. Jag would be the smartest move to take out. For who? For the Cameron side? Which side do you think would be which side do you think would be that move would be for, is what I'm trying to say. The Cameron side or the Cerie side? Not that Cameron really has a side. He thinks he does, but his side is kind of a smoke screen. I was also watching a conversation there's a couple conversations I was watching. I was watching Mimi talk to Corey about America, and Corey seems to be very concerned about her relationships with Cameron and also with Jag. For any side, Blue brings nothing to the game. Like Corey said, she's the worst in the house. I mean, she doesn't bring anything to the game, but the way that I think of things is, if Jag is on the side, Jag is good at competitions. So Jag could potentially be good for one of the sides. If Jag goes and you don't have him on your side, that's one. Like when I'm thinking of the Cerie side, I think for them, for multiple reasons, it's more beneficial for Blue to go. Number one, if they are responsible for Jag staying, I think, just like Cerie said, he will be happy with their loyalty, and he doesn't really have a group anymore. And then also it splits up this whole thing with Jared, which has clearly proved that it's detrimental to the whole side for him to be messing around with Blue. Exactly. She can go Jag too. Gotta go. So I think that I think Blue going would be better for the Cameron side. And I think Blue going would be better for the Cerie side. And Jag going would probably be better for the other side. Because then it's always going to be an easy option for you to throw up Jared and Blue at the same time and make an excuse for it. That's the way that I would see it. I'm like, if I am not working with Jared and Blue, then it's not a disadvantage to have them in the house when there's still 12 or 13 people there. I think 14 this week, and it's going to be 13, but then one might come back. But let's just say 13 to 14, 12 to 13 people in there. It's not that big of a disadvantage. And just like others have said, it's not even like a power team that is working the house and dominating competitions or dominating the social aspects of the game or anything like that. So they're not really a dangerous pair to have unless you had a small number, you were getting close to jury or something. It's weird though, Cameron, because you can play a game where you're not winning. You can win a game where you're not winning early. Like you could, if you're playing a masterful social game and you're not getting nominated for the block, you can definitely win a game where you're not winning competitions. But then when you get down to the jury part of it, your ability to win competitions is your life in this game when you get to that point. Because you can't have an alliance of, let's say, unless they really legitimately think, oh, we got the 7 or we got the 6 or whatever they have, the 6, and we're going to get all 6 of us into the final 6. You literally have to be in a cookout type of situation for that to happen, where you are all in agreement from early on, week 1 in the house or first couple of weeks in the house, right? You guys are all working synonymously to make sure that this happens. You can't have a 3 or a 4. I can't even call Mama Felicia, Cerie, and Izzy and Jared a 4. I can't even call them a 4. And the reason why I'm saying that is because if you listen to Felicia talk, she's always speaking as if Jared is expendable. Like we have a 3+1 is kind of how she ends up talking about Jared. And they obviously can't really correct her too hardcore because they don't want her alerts up that they have a 3. Off topic, I appreciate you bringing up America being so pushy because last night most outlets, I'm assuming that's supposed to say aren't as transparent as you. And I thank you for that comment, Cameron. I'll tell you the truth. Last year, because you always talk about the Big Brother community, last year the Big Brother community was so polarizing for me. It was just so toxic to me when certain things were happening in the BB24 house. And at one time I said, I'm going to just alter my content, or I'm going to just skip that topic, or I'm going to just not give my real opinion about this because I'm just worried about what the BB community is going to say or do about that, or what they're going to put in my comment section. Are they going to leave me stupid troll comments and all this stuff? And I was concerned about that. And it was happening for multiple different things that I said during BB24. But then I realized to myself, this page is my community. So there's no way that I want to come on here and have a community that comes here because of me and not be who I am. So that's why this year you see that I'm not really thinking about how is this going to sound or how is this going to look or how the BBC is going to take this. Let's be real. If the role was reversed, right? And Corey and America were in that bed, and Corey was the one who was trying to jump on top of her and who was doing whatever he was doing, whatever she was doing under the blanket. And it's like, come on, come on. And she's telling him, no, Corey, I told you I'm not going to do this on camera. Not here. I'm not going to do this here. Like, this is against my values. I don't want to do this. They would be having a discussion right now. Corey would be, even nice, lovable Corey, being a male doing that, would be up in flames right now. And there would be a Twitter storm calling for him to be removed from the house. They would say CBS production needs to step up and do the right thing, because no means no. You can't do those things once somebody says no, right? So I was looking at that, like I was saying before, and I was like, okay, the first 10 minutes, 15, I was watching, I was like, this is funny. You know, she's just, he's eventually going to cave into this because this is what he really wants. And then when I was looking at it some more and I was listening to the way she was talking, and he wasn't comfortable. He clearly was not comfortable with what was going on. So after a while, I'm like, this is too much. And we need to not do this whole double standard thing where it's okay because it's a female doing it to a male. I haven't really seen anyone actually say that, but I don't have a problem saying that. That was problematic behavior, and it was embarrassing. I think it was embarrassing. And I think that even her, when she's out of the house and watches it back, I don't know. I didn't see that as okay. I don't know about anyone else, but I sure didn't. And then today I saw her having conversations with Cameron about, let's meet up in New York after the show is over, and it's just a lot. But I'm always going to call it like I see it. Maybe sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong, but I'm always going to call it how I see it. Hey, DM Rocks, how's it going? How's your day going? So thus far, I don't really think anything major has happened. If I hadn't started watching this cast from week 1, I would be like, oh, there's a flip going on. There's so much to talk about. But because the flipping is an everyday thing for them, it's not news. And I mean, technically you could say I'm part of the community too. I mean, I'm not even trying to say I'm not part of the Big Brother community, because now I'm on Reddit, now I'm on Twitter, now I'm on like Big Brother forums on Facebook, so I'm all up in the community. It's just that certain things that I see there, I don't just go along with the group of what the group is saying, what the group is doing, what the group thinks. A lot of times, actually, I like coming on here. I only really like tapping into the community to get information because, like I've said, I don't have a team that works on my page, and I don't have like multiple people that help me get updates about the feeds. So if I'm working and I have like a 4 or 5 hour block of time that I'm not able to check the feeds, I'll tap into Reddit, I'll tap into Facebook, I'll tap into Twitter to see timestamps or to see major things that have happened since the time I last checked. So for that kind of thing. And then sometimes I'll read some of the comments to see what people think. I didn't see too many people saying that they thought that America was wrong. And as a matter of fact, there was a lot of people there making fun of Corey and being like, Corey doesn't have any experience with women. Corey, she's out of his league. Like they were actually, from what I was looking at, coming for Corey more than her. But for me, I'm like, good for the guy for sticking to his guns, with somebody who was drunk and just trying to force him to do something that he really didn't want to do, clearly. Jared could not do that. Definitely not. Did you see America and Corey cuddling in the have not room? The cameras. Yes, I did. The cameras were having a fun time with that. The cameras were having a fun time with zooming in on that condom box that Izzy threw in the room. People actually hate Jared. I get Jared is stupid, but to hate him is unfair. I have issues with some of the things that he's done and said, but I definitely don't hate him. It's kind of the same way that I felt about Monty in a way last year. It was like there were certain things and behaviors that I did not like that he did and said, but I never hated him. Corey has morals. He doesn't want to do those stuff on TV. And I wish that people would respect that, It must be hard to be in that type of environment and to choose not to do that, especially when you have somebody trying to jump your bones like in the middle of the night and you actually like her and you actually want to do that. Because he did say that he wants to go to the jury house. That was another thing that I wanted to say. He mentioned this jury house so many times as if he's not trying to win. I'm like, you should not be talking about the jury house, sir. Just say outside of the house. Don't say the jury house. Like you're planning for you and her to lose the game. Hey Lisa, how's it going? What time do we got here? 4:57. 4:57. Yeah, so now the house is kind of in a weird limbo. They're still having a lot of different conversations, but I don't feel like they're having really any major conversations. Like I said at the beginning, the veto noms stayed the same, so Jag and Blue are still up. I'm very curious as to when these people will find out about the competition thing. I think they were saying that we're going to find out on Thursday, but I hope that just means we, as in the people who only watch the show, I hope that we, the live feeders, find out before Thursday. That would be cool to know. That's why I love this channel. You report on everything with an unbiased opinion. Most people are biased and not even. I'm going to tell you something. This is off topic. This is on topic, but it's a little bit off topic to my title. I said this like a couple of weeks ago with the Luke incident when Luke was removed from the house. Something that I have noticed that broadcasters or podcasters, whatever you want to call them, a lot of them do is that they hop on the popular opinion train. And the reason they do this is because they get a lot of high fives for doing that. Like if somebody makes a comment in the house, even if that comment is misconstrued, or even if it's like potentially it's a good person who just said something that they don't realize came across a way. For instance, somebody could be a person who is not a misogynist, right? But they could make a comment that is misogynistic. That is possible. That is possible to do. So then somebody could pick up that one sentence, and overall, you've watched hours and hours and hours of footage of conversations and never heard them say anything remotely like that. But you pick up that one sentence and you take that as a title. You make that title clickbait. So and so is a misogynist, need to be kicked out of the house, right? And you've seen the thumbnails, a picture of them and like arrows pointing to their face, and then they'll create a whole live, right, of like an hour's worth of trashing the person. And then you'll go and you'll see a whole bunch of channels with the same type of thing, the same type of video, the same type of theme. I'm not interested in doing that, despite the fact that those things get you more views. This is what I've come to understand about YouTube in the past year of doing this. I learn things. I study and I learn things. So I know that there's actually ways that I could boost my channel much faster than coming here and just reporting on the facts unbiased, not jumping and running with footage that I haven't even seen, and misquotes and just saying whatever to hype people up. I could definitely get more viewers and traction doing that, but if I were to change my whole way of being to make a page succeed, I wouldn't be able to look myself in the mirror at night and enjoy running the page. So that's why I'm like, the same way how I am in life. I was never somebody in my life who would do something just to be popular or say something just to be with the majority of people. That's why I connect on the show with somebody like Mimi, because I see her as that same type of person as me. If the group happens to be saying something that is like something that I am in agreement with, then yeah, I'll go with the group. I'm not like somebody who's just going to go against the grain just to go against the grain. But usually the group is not leading you to good things. Unless you have selected your group carefully. That's another story. After seeing the interview with Sharon Thorpe that Sharon Thorpe did with who's Jun? Oh, Jun from the previous season. And she said she would. Oh yes, I did see that actually. I know what you're talking about. I was thinking of this season when you said Jun. That's the reason why I was confused. I have a feeling we might get a winter season for 30. That would be cool. They're not going to get many opportunities to do an all winter season, so they need to take advantage of that while they can. They definitely need to take advantage of that. Depending on how many people they could get to come for that, I think I saw that suggestion thrown out before, and I was thinking first and second might have to be taken into consideration to have a larger pool, like winners not necessarily just being first place winners, first and second place. But that's just a thought for me. Yeah, that's just a thought for me. And also, shout out to this page because I think I have almost 300 subscribers now. Some of you were on here a few weeks ago when I had about 70 subscribers. So it's small growth, but it is growth nonetheless. I've gained about maybe 100 subscribers a week for the past maybe not 100, maybe about 70 to 75 subscribers a week for the past couple weeks. It's really good because most people go with the popular opinion are the successful one, but you put in the work and form a cult following. And also, when I interview people, there's something that I do that a lot of people probably don't do. I think some people probably watch previous interviews as a way to get interview questions for them. And I don't watch the interviews to get interview questions. I actually watch the show that they were on. I watch all the episodes of the show again, like fresh. Except if it's like a West, because when I was interviewing West, there's no way for me to watch 20 seasons before I interview him. But if it's somebody who's been on like Big Brother or Survivor, a show with 1 or 2 seasons that they were on, I'll watch the whole season beginning to end. And then what I'll do is I'll check out a few interviews and see if they're being asked the same question by 10 people, because then I'm like, why am I going to ask the same question? Because number one, ain't nobody trying to see that because they've already been asked that 10 times. And number two, they're just going to give me the same answer that they gave the other 10 people, because for them it's just routine. An interview gets real interesting when you throw something in there and the person is like, I haven't heard that before. I have not heard that perspective before. Hey, Edward. I've seen some winners. Yeah, I saw that. I saw Derek and Cody saying that they would be down to do a winter season. I did not see season 3. I know Eddie from season 1. I didn't see season 3. But that's an interesting one. That's my favorite part about how you interview people. Super original, and you bring out a certain kind of honesty, and I can tell they appreciate it. And I still hope that I'm going to be able to interview. Well, I'm not even going to say who, but I still hope that there's a couple of interviews that are going to be able to happen. But there's some like CBS red tape that prevents certain interviews from happening. I think that 2-year contract thing is real, is really real with people coming off of these CBS shows, because I did not have that red tape when interviewing Hannah. That was not any kind of issue for me. I did, and as you're saying that, I forgot to even do a recap. I forgot to do my recap. This 2 episodes a week thing has been throwing me off, but as far as I know, this is the last week that they're going to have a Sunday episode, which I'm glad about, so I can just have one challenge episode per week. I think what I'm going to do is that I'm going to recap. What are we, Monday today? I might end up just recapping both episodes on Friday, because I know there's a Thursday episode coming up. So I might end up recapping both challenge episodes on Friday. But that was a great episode. For anyone who likes the challenge, that was one of the most suspenseful challenge episodes I have ever seen. That's one of the most suspenseful episodes I've ever seen, period. That's why I'm gonna need that blue interview. I could see that being fun to watch. You know, I want to give an example of when I interviewed Alyssa Lopez. I didn't dislike Alyssa. However, I didn't know that much about Alyssa before I did that interview. I just remember she was X's person on the show. I remember when she got out, I think she was the last person actually that got out before the cookout was complete, as the 6 people for the cookout. So I just remembered her for that, a little bit about her showmance with Christian. But aside from that, I couldn't think of 1 hour worth of things to talk to her about. So what gave me something to talk to her about was actually looking a little bit at her Twitter and then watching the episodes that she was in on Big Brother, and then watching some of her Challenge USA footage, and then just kind of looking into some things in her history. And I was like, wow, this is actually, I actually found an interest in her from doing that research. And it was kind of fun, actually. And I enjoyed the conversation that I had with her and even viewed her a little bit differently after I was done because we connected on certain things such as social anxiety. Blue would be a harder interview though, because as of now, um, this whole TikTok world is hard for me to navigate. I would like to see in me too, but they had 22. What was the last one they had before 22? Was and Heisem. That would be an interesting one too, a Heisem interview. I didn't appreciate Dustin going off on Tiffany like that. And it was so weird. And you know what? I was surprised at how calm Tiffany was too. She was just calmly like, that wasn't even my vote, Dusty. Why are you making it your mission to take me out when I'm not even the one who put that vote in for you? I'm not even one of the people. Like he was like, oh, you orchestrated this whole thing. And I found that to be weird. But I found it to also be great self-control from her because that's not the Tiffany I know. And shout out to Tiffany because I've met off-screen Tiffany and she's very nice. But on-screen Tiffany, on the shows that she's been on, is not quite so nice. So I was really surprised at how she was in response to somebody coming for her like that. So, 22 was the All-Star. Yes, the All-Star season that Cody won. So so they've only had what, 2 or 3 or more? BB7 All-Star. I have watched about half of that season. I need to finish it. I need to finish it during an off season because I can't even commit to watching a Big Brother season during a Big Brother season. Oh, there's only been 2. Okay. I see. But the gap between 1 and 2, that's the whole thing. Like I think they would probably want a bigger gap between a 2 and a 3. I'm thinking. Like maybe they could do that all winners are all stars for 30 like Edward was saying for season 30. But I'm still liking the season. I'm still enjoying the season. I don't understand the people who are saying this season is boring. I don't get it. Now even in one of the forums that I'm in, I saw somebody saying somebody made a thread being like, I miss the BB24 game players. And I'm like, am I in the multiverse right now? Because I remember everyone complaining about BB24 heavily. Yeah, social media definitely. Social media and pre-gaming definitely hurt BB22. And it's also part of the reason why people are not respecting Cody's win as much because Cody was in contact, I've heard, with a lot of the cast. I mean, when they questioned him, he was like everybody was in contact with everybody, but I think he did a lot of pre-gaming. Although I mean, I can't discount what he did in the house. I'm not one to discount what they do when they get in the house because you can pre-game with someone and they can still flip on you. But it does cheat the game a little bit. But how can you really avoid that for an All-Stars, to be honest? You might have been able to avoid that back in the day for season 3 or whatever seasons, like season 7, whatever seasons you guys said had the All-Stars. But in the social media era, How do you have an all-star season without collaboration? Challengers are savvy. That's the thing that people don't realize. MTV challengers are actually very smart, and it's their game. So I think the Survivor players and the Big Brother players came in there and were like, "Oh, look at the numbers. We're outnumbering them by quite a lot. So we can just vote them out every time." But then this whole twist, they were like, "How can we get our teeth in the game?" So getting their teeth in the game, in Johnny's case and in Wes's case, was winning the elimination and going on to the blue team. So now all these people on this blue team, a lot of the blue team doesn't like Bananas. A lot of the blue team doesn't like Tori, and a lot of the blue team doesn't like Wes. But what are you going to do? They now have the strongest team in the game by far, and that gives them, for the most part, the highest chance of winning a limbs. And if they win a limbs, that means all those vets on that team are safe, and that means that there's less of them on the other teams. So they'll have more power in the votes than they did on their teams where there was just one or two vets on the team. Yeah, I think that was a smart thing, the hat trick. And I'm surprised that Tori came up with that, quite frankly. I mean, I know Tori is a challenge winner, a recent challenge winner, but she is usually known for the brawn more so than anything. That's why being with Devin was such a good partnership for her. I can't discount Cody on game. Cody game on 22, probably the best gameplay ever seen. But he could never be the best BB player ever. He's definitely top five. I was rooting for him that whole season, and I like Cody, but it's just hard for me to put him up there with even Derek. I don't consider his game as good as Derek's game. I don't consider his game as good as Dan. There's like a lot of people I can see that had a harder path than he did. I almost want to compare Cody's BB22 path to like Xavier's BB23 path. His plan, so Wes has been at work all season. Last week, Wes gave them the strategy that helps them win that daily. This week, Wes figured out, like different ways to turn the different sides against each other and have them point their arrows at each other. I want to say more, but just in case anybody has not watched the episode yet and is planning to, I don't want to say more. But y'all know Wes is my guy, so I'm always rooting for Wes. How's Tyler doing? Tyler socially is doing great. Tyler is getting close to his. They showed in the episode preview that it looks like next episode is going to be the one where he gives in to Alyssa S. If you guys have not seen my interview with Wes that I just did right before the season started, you should check that out. But what he said to me in that interview was that he feels like, because of obligations to his business, because of his age, and because of the baby his wife is about to have on the way, that he doesn't think that he's going to have another opportunity. But he did say also that he's not officially calling himself retired. He's just having a hard time envisioning the challenge continuing to be able to fit into his life. So I would never say never with Wes, but I wouldn't say that anyone should expect to see him on another 5 challenges, 6 challenges. Bananas, you don't know. You don't know his window because he doesn't have a family. And this is kind of, You know, this is a bigger part of his current life than it is for Wes, I would say. He could break the mold and keep going, but I don't think Wes is going to have too many more in him. I think even if he does come back, it would be a 1 or 2 type of deal at the most. If you were to win the HOH pressure cooker, who would be sitting up there? So this is somebody asked me this question the other day, but it depends on where I am in the house. Okay, so if I am Cam and I win the HOH pressure cooker, that's a different answer than if I'm Suri and I win it, or like Jared or Izzy. So if I was Cam and winning the pressure cooker as Cam, I would really want to put 2 people on Suri's alliance up there. And I know that's a big move, but I wouldn't put Suri up there, but I would put maybe a Jared or an Izzy. Well, I guess he wanted to like a backdoor for Izzy or whatever, but I would put 2 targets that I'm very interested in going. Like his Jag and Blue selection is such a neutral selection where it's like, okay, whether you're here, whether you're not here, you're not a major threat to my game anyways, and you can go, but I hope that somebody uses power veto so I get to choose somebody else. No, I would put at least one person that is clearly on that side. That is clearly on the side. So if I was somebody on the other side, I think I would definitely just go Cam and Red. Because they don't have the numbers. That's what they all say when they have their first baby. He'll be back for a couple. I hope so, but a few of them haven't come back. Leroy hasn't come back. What about getting the challenge into the Big Brother? What do you mean? Can you rephrase that question? I'd rather bring someone from the challenge. Oh, is that what you're saying? I'd rather bring someone on the challenge from the challenge on Big Brother than someone from Survivor. Oh, who would I want to see from the challenge? I would love to see Wes in a challenge in a Big Brother house. He said he would never do it though, but I would love to see Wes in a Big Brother house. I would love to see Johnny Bananas in a Big Brother house. Um, who else from the challenge would I like to see in a Big Brother house? Wes Bananas. I can't really think of too many people who I think would translate well coming from the challenge into Big Brother. You literally read most of our minds. Do you think Izzy will spill the beans about Suri and Jared if she gets backdoored? Well, if she doesn't get backdoored by them, then I don't think so. If she knows that they are involved in a backdoor involving her, then yes, I think she would. Would love to see the challengers in the Big Brother. And all these events that I've gone to, all these Big Brother people I that have been on Big Brother and the challenge all say they like the challenge better. All these challenge people that I've asked if they would ever do Big Brother are like, no way. They're like, I would rather do Survivor before I do Big Brother. Big Brother, everybody describes as this big psychological mind F that traumatized them. So I don't know what makes them go on, but thank y'all because I couldn't be you. The house would definitely be a mess with challengers. I don't think that Tori would be. I mean, I would like to see it for the entertainment. I just think Tori would crack in the Big Brother house. She is not somebody that I would see doing well. I would see her flaming out early. I could see Tori flaming out early. Tori has benefited on the challenge from the fact that you can flame out and win your way back in the house. So on the challenge, even though sometimes she puts her foot in her mouth, she doesn't have to eat it because she could just beat somebody in a ring and come back. Tori would be a huge. She would, and I don't think she would know how to downplay her threat level. Because that's the thing about getting into the Big Brother house. If you are a physical threat like that, you got to learn how to downplay. Even if you're a mental threat, you got to downplay. Downplay, downplay, downplay is the name of the game. Because as soon as they feel like, oh, this person is a comp beast, or this one's a super fan or a super genius or whatever it is, they're like, we need them out. Yeah, it would be hard for people to come from the challenge to do Big Brother for multiple reasons. One, it would just be hard for them to do, period. Because everyone looks at those carnival games and stuff, and it's like, oh, you don't really have to be some big physical threat. There's only a few competitions that actually require you to be really strong and have endurance and all that. But that's not really the hard part of the game. The hard part of the game is being in that house for that long. You're only around these certain amount of people. You're getting 2 outside days per week. You get limited access to the therapist. Sometimes you got to be on slop. You're paranoid all the time because everybody's whispering in corners. Yeah, she would be somebody who they keep throwing in, and she has to like win POVs and win HOHs to keep herself in the game. I could definitely see that. You know what's so funny that you just said that? They have had a challenge season, Challenge USA 1, that only had Survivor, Big Brother, Love Island, and Amazing Race players on it. So it might be very interesting to see a season of Big Brother that maybe is something like a celebrity Big Brother style in terms of the timing and everything, where you put Survivor, Amazing Race, and challenge people into a Big Brother house and see them compete against each other in the house. Could you imagine that? That would be really interesting. I think that a whole group of challenge people together would not be able to do it. They would kill each other. But I think that some of them could be in there together. Oh, he's too intense for the challenge for me. I think that I, I don't know. I feel like he has the potential to be good on the challenge, but he's so intense. He's so intense, like more intense than what is needed for that show. That show, you need to have a combination of strategy, skill, strength, and personality. And I think he has some of the elements and not others. He's definitely, obviously, strong enough and smart enough. The social skills part, well, maybe he'll learn about himself in the off season. Who knows? Who knows? Oh, I don't even want to answer this one. Oh, he should not have won. He should not have won. Bitter jury and terrible jury management by Paul got Josh a win by 1 vote. Josh is one of the worst winners in BB history. I'm just saying. Josh shouldn't have won that season. He was lucky to be. He was very lucky to be at the end. And his emotions, hitting the pots and just jumping in Mark's face and jumping in Cody's face and threatening people, and just he was a hot mess. Like Josh could write a book on how to not win, how to do everything wrong and still win at the end, by Josh Martinez. He is good TV. I will give you that. And actually, I enjoy watching him on the challenge way more than I enjoyed watching him on Big Brother. I hated watching him on Big Brother. It was irritating to me. I'm like, when are they going to get this guy out? When I first saw him on the challenge, I had never watched Big Brother. And all the Big Brother people that I was talking to that were fans of the challenge were like, oh, he's much better than he was on Big Brother. And I'm like, better? I was like, better? There was a time that he was worse. So then when I circled back and watched Big Brother, I was like, you guys are right. As wild and annoying as he was on the challenge, because he has gotten a little better, but as like crazy as he was on Big Brother, on the challenge, I mean, it was nothing compared to how he was on Big Brother. On Big Brother, my guy was just all over the place, erratic, annoying. Looking at him was triggering, because I'm like, I couldn't live with a person like that for 90 days. One of us would be going out of there. I was so surprised at the restraint that Cody was using. But I think that was mostly off of the strength of his love for Jessica. That he didn't hit him or something. I am somebody who hates being woken up out of my sleep, period, even when it's time for me to wake up, even when I'm supposed to be up. You start banging pots over my head, and I will start banging your head with the pots. Especially if this is some stranger and it's not like a family member or a companion or something. And you're just doing that to irritate me. I'm just gonna make noise in the house. Bang, bang, bang. I was like, yo, these people are better than me. These people are better than me, man. He won the last HOH. That was the one thing. That was like the only thing that he did right in this whole game. And it's not even like that was the choice to take Paul instead of to take his best friend in the house. That was, yeah. That part, I have to give him credit for that. That was obviously the winning move right there, because Christmas would have washed him easily. Taking Paul was a ballsy move because of the fact that we on the outside looking in can say, oh yeah, Paul, a lot of people didn't like being snaked by Paul, and a lot of people didn't like this or that. But they're not seeing the jury house, and they're not seeing the goodbye messages or anything. So Paul actually had to use some kind of reasoning to realize that Christmas was way more well liked than Paul. Christmas would be worse than Josh winning, but you think that Josh would have beat her? Because I don't. I mean, I wouldn't have liked her winning, but I definitely think that she would have beat him. I think anyone even mildly likable would have beat him. They literally hated Paul. Even the people who voted for Paul, I don't even think really. I think Paul had one or two people who really liked him, and the rest of them, they were like Paul super fans. They were like originally Paul super fans that started to dislike him after realizing the different moves that he was making and the promises that he was giving them that he wasn't keeping. I'm heading off in about 5 minutes, by the way. In your opinion, which season of BBUS was the most lit as far as drama? Every time I mention this season, people are like, oh, you like that season? But I love season 16. Season 16 is one of my favorite seasons. I don't think you could beat. Oh, yeah. I got you. Yeah. I mean, I would rather anyone have won but Josh. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not a Josh fan. I hated Holiday. She was crazy. I was just watching the other day that whole argument that Christmas had that one night with Bailey and Davon. That was wild. I watched it back because I heard Cody describing it. Because Cody was like, the fights that happened in the house during their season for the most part, in season 22, when she came back as an all-star, he said most of those fights were just like pretty tame and they were never really worried about those fights. But he said that everybody in the house was legitimately thinking that they were gonna go fisticuffs. Devon and Christmas in particular. He said the shouting could be heard all throughout the house. And everybody was like, what's happening here? Like, do we need to break this up? 16 is in my top 3. Oh, you're one of the first people who I have heard that agrees with me on that. I don't know why a lot of the BB community does not like that season. There was a lot of drama. There was like some real life stuff happening with Frankie and with Derek, and it's just. Then there was when they gave up on the Cowboy, gave up on Frankie and was like, you're gonna have to play this. I think it was the power of veto, maybe 1-on-2, and he won it by himself. There was the Zach and Frankie showmance, fomance, whatever, bromance, whatever you want to call it. It was just a lot of fun elements to that season. This season is fun in terms of it's fun because they suck at the gameplay, but it's not as fun in terms of the house guests being fun. These house guests are not really fun. It's just fun to observe their mannerisms and the way they play the game. I feel like these recent seasons have been not these recent seasons. 24 and this one in particular have been less fun, like on the feeds. They're so intense. It's like they don't know that you can have fun also. I was cheering against him, but then I was like, this is dramatic. This one's for you, Ariana. This one's for you. That's for the whole Grande family. I'm like, are they not listening to the man? Do they not realize he just shouted out his famous sister or what? I loved Zach on that season too, and I wished that he would go on the challenge. I think I had heard that he was an alternate at one point. Caleb was a comp piece. Frankie is one of the most underrated players ever, for sure. For sure he was. I'm sounding like Jared now. For sure. For sure. He loves saying that. As much as I didn't want Frankie to win, I was so impressed. I even clapped for him when he got that veto. So full of himself. Yeah. I heard that Zach had some substance abuse problems in the off season, and that was the main reason why he did not make any kind of return to reality TV. But I've heard that he's doing well now. I think I followed his Instagram. He seems to be doing well. sometimes, even though I would like to see people come back for these shows, I'm also all for their wellness. You know, like as much as I would miss them on the show, if they say it is better for my health and wellness to not be on a show, then right off into the sunset. Anyways, y'all, thanks for tuning in. I don't know if I'll be back on tonight. It's possible. As a reminder, though, tomorrow I'm not going to be posting any Big Brother on this page. I might still be tuning in, but I'm not going to be making any Big Brother posts, as it is my dad's. Would have been my dad's birthday. A reminder, please watch my video. If you can't watch it at the time it posts, because I understand there's people on different coasts. It's in the middle of the day. It could be a work day for some people, so you're not able to watch it at that time. But even if you cannot watch it right when it's a premiere, go back and watch it whenever you can. But try to watch it on that day. It's an interview with Sam from season 5 of The Circle. It's my favorite interview that I've done. It was so funny. I mean, I watched it back because I didn't even see this. I didn't even receive this footage, which is why it took me so long to post it. I didn't even receive this footage from this interview that I did more than a month ago until I think last week I got it. So when I watched it again, it brought me back to that time period, and it was like watching something almost brand new. I mean, I was there, but yeah, there's parts of it that are funny. There's parts of it that are insightful. There's some personal things that Sam shared in there, and it was just a very good interview. So if you have not seen that season, or if you have not seen The Circle, give it a chance. Hit up Netflix and skip ahead to season 5. Even if you only watch a couple of episodes, that'll be enough for you to see who Sam is. Thanks, Mark. Looking forward to that long-awaited interview. It's going to be so good. Wishing you peace tomorrow. Sending love to you and your family. Appreciate that. Thank you, Patricia. And thanks, everybody, once again for tuning in, for your support. I might be back tonight. I'm not sure. But you know my community page, I'm going to be updating it as soon as I get back from my run and see whatever is going on in the house. And if anything happens, any news developments or anything like that, I will be here for that. And I will resume regular activity on this page on Wednesday. Wednesday is the day that they usually show the power of veto, everything with the power of veto. So I'll be right back on here. But Tuesday is dedicated to my dad. So no Big Brother for that day. All right. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk later.
So you literally were one of my very first followers. And then when you followed me and I, followed back, I was like, this dude is cool. Like,
if they say talk to your manager, you just say, you know what, talk to the hand. You don't need to be on my podcast. But yeah, dude. Yeah, you do a great job.
Thank you. I always get a kick out of talking with you on Patreon. You have a really good, view on it.
That wasn't planned.
You know what? But I like this Canadian.
Well, thank you.